Okay, what we have here is Edge of Death, which is a brand new hardcore mod pack for Minecraft 1.7.10. There's just over 140 mods in this pack. Things like Hardcore Darkness, which is fantastic for showing off dynamic lights, which is what I'm going to do next. We've got Lycanites mobs, special mobs, zombie awareness, with extra mob spawning turned up high. The physics engine on Enviromine can push CPUs hard, so that's good for testing too. Glenn's gases and the gases framework are temporarily excluded from this pack, as I want to take a look at the problems and the lag that occurs when a world is generated with those particular mods installed. And dynamic lights is what we're here to mess around with today. We're going to have a go in a creative world at night, take a look at the performance of the latest version of the dynamic lights mod. I imagine half of you are shouting at me right now, why? Why, Lak, are you messing with Atomic Striker's dynamic lights? It's been around for ages and it's perfect as it is. And the other half are probably shouting, why? Why, Lak? Why are you messing around with Atomic Striker's dynamic lights? Don't you know the latest version of Optifine now includes its own dynamic lights? Well, the answer has three parts. Firstly, I too love Atomic Striker's dynamic lights, but I was noticing some lag spikes and unusual behaviour. I was not totally convinced that it was dynamic lights, but when I switched to Optifine the lag went away. Secondly, I wanted to find out more about both Optifine and dynamic lights, how they work, so I took a look under the bonnet of both. And thirdly, the guy that makes Optifine doesn't want Optifine included in anyone's mod packs. If you ask for permission, you won't get it, and if you do it without permission, you'll end up on Santa's naughty list. So while you're watching this video clip, I want you to look at three things. Firstly, how choppy the gameplay is, how the mobs are moving erratically and the player is moving in fits and starts, and it's generally not very pleasant. Secondly, the frame rate, which dips to 0 from time to time. And thirdly, look at the pie chart, which shows you the majority of the time is spent ticking the game. We don't know exactly what's being ticked from this chart, but more time the CPU spends working on ticking entities, the less time it has available to do things like rendering. Now, this next clip is the same world and the same mod pack. All that has changed is that I've swapped the Dynamic Lights mod for the 1.3.9a version that I've developed. I say developed. It was mostly copying and pasting and butchering the good work of Atomic Striker, but here's the result. Here you can see the FPS stays high and doesn't dip to 0. I think 11 is the lowest I've noticed watching the clip. The tick part of the pie chart remains less than a quarter of the effort exerted by the CPU, and as you can see, I've added a dynamic lights tick method to the profiler so that it gets its own entry in the chart, which is showing a maximum of about 2 or 3% of the load, and in lighter tests it's nothing, it's virtually 0. Lastly, you can see that the game plays nicer in general. Things aren't totally smooth, but they are a little bit better. Here I want to show off a couple of features of dynamic lights. Now these aren't things I've designed, Atomic Striker made these, but I think they're really cool. First there is the flashlight type effect. In the config this is called floodlight. The item you need to hold to turn on the effect is configurable, and the light moves in the direction of the player and extends out in the direction you're looking. The brightness of the light drops off as distance increases. It's very cool. And then you can drop torches down dark ravines to see how deep they are. Anyway, I recommend you checking out the latest version of Dynamic Lights for Minecraft 1.7.10 and also the Edge of Death mod pack, the first public version of which has just been released. Thanks for watching.